What's up, everybody? This is the Messed Up to Setups podcast, and today I have in the house with me Jeremi George. He's been on Hulu and Netflix and HBO and BET. We're gonna have lots of fun, so stick around.
It's all messed up, yeah. Everything's messed up. We're going from this mess up to the next setup. Everything seems so messed up, but it's just our setup.
What's up, everybody? I'm comedian Michael Halcomb, and today with me, actor and comedian Jeremi George. We're just meeting for the first time. Jeremi, how's it?
Man, thank you for having me on, Mike. Dude, I love your podcast. Like we just got introduced like not too long ago, and I watch your podcast and I'm like, this guy is doing it right. Yeah.
All
So
right,
thank you for having me on, man. Thank you for
man. I
inviting me and having me
appreciate
on
that.
for
I have
sure.
a blast, dude. I love connecting with comedians and hearing y'all's stories and your jokes and working on jokes together. It's fun, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And of course, nothing better than laughing with people. So,
Yeah, I know, man. So thank you for having this space, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, it's you know, like I've seen a lot of podcasts and I've done them in other ventures and stuff. And to have something like this for comedians, thank you for that, man. That's huge.
dude, I appreciate that. Well, where are you, man? Where do you live?
I am in Virginia.
All righty.
It's snowing out here. Well, it snowed a couple of days ago. It's supposed to snow again tomorrow. But I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. But I've been in Virginia for about 20 years now. And so my wife was like, you don't need to claim Texas anymore. You've been here almost because I'm 48. So it's like you've been here over almost half your life. So you don't need to claim. I'm like, I'll never stop claiming Texas. Well, that's our little thing. So yeah, I enjoy. It's a beautiful place, man. Beautiful people, beautiful place.
Yeah, yeah. I like West Virginia and Virginia. I like the mountains and the hills and yeah, like dude,
Yeah.
pretty places, man.
Dude, I got a chance to, you get a chance to experience like all 4 seasons. So
Right.
in Houston, it was just, it was hot or it was hella hot, and so it's like
That's true.
those are your options.
That's so accurate. I've been there a couple of times. Dude,
Yeah,
the humidity is like insane.
it's crazy. Like I
Yeah.
didn't, I never understood like the women because like my mom and they would get their hair done and then go out into the heat and it's like, oh, my hair is just falling down. It's like I didn't get what they were saying until we have some summers like that here in Virginia. And I'm like, my wife, I'm like, hey, you look different when we left the house. Like what changed in the last 5 minutes?
It's a dangerous thing to say.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna get in trouble, so I'm gonna have to. I might not be able to share this podcast with her, but no, she's one of my biggest supporters, man.
That's great, dude. Man, so you do acting and stand-up comedy. How'd you get into stand-up?
So, um, I've been doing, and I'm a kind of try to round it up for you, or whatever. So I've been doing the acting thing and been doing this stuff since high school. Like I said, I'm 48, be 49 in
Wow.
February. So I've been doing it since high school, and even comedic acting and things of that nature. When I became an adult, I started writing stage plays, kind of like dramedies, so drama and
Okay.
comedy. And so we started doing live theater, and my wife started doing it. I got a film degree, and so I just, the bug just bit me real early.
Right.
I used to work in the ministry and I used to do a lot of events where we would host events like New Year's Eves or different programs and stuff. And so that's where I kind of got, my experience with standing in front of a crowd, talking, making them laugh. That was always my biggest thing. Even though it was church or like a concert, my goal was always to make people laugh. So I got that stand up in front of the crowd experience. But one thing that frightened me was when I was doing this New Year's Eve event and I saw a poster and the poster had on there Christian comedian. And I'm like, "Oh boy, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like the fact that I was being called a comedian, right? Because it's like I'm like, "Wait a minute, I've never called myself that. Don't do that." Oh, although, like, since I was a kid, it's always, "Man, you need to be a comedian, you need to be a comedian." You hear that, but I found that I didn't want the responsibility 'cause a lot of people don't realize this. Comedians do have a big responsibility, and they got
Yeah.
a lot of weight on their shoulders. I didn't want the responsibility of having to make people laugh.
Mm,
My comedy was just always off the cuff. One minute we're talking about, God, and then the next minute I throw something way off the wall, catches them off guard, and it's funny.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that responsibility of having to make somebody laugh. And that very event, this one dude was like, "Okay, Christian comedian, make me laugh." And that whole night,
Wow.
I tried to not make eye contact with that guy. And what I did is that I tried to make him laugh. And then at that point, I didn't feel authentic.
Right.
So I ran away from it for a long time. It was a big fear of mine. And then it wasn't too long ago to where the Funny Bone here in Richmond, they have like Funny Bone School. And I decided to get enrolled in it. And I'm like, man, I've been doing this stuff, not the technical stuff, but it's
Right.
like I don't have a problem getting in front of people. And so that's when I started saying, you know what, let me go ahead and just do it. And when I did it, I'm like, you know what? This wasn't as bad as I thought. People come to the comedy club to laugh. Like I was
Right.
I was treating them like they were a church congregation. They didn't come to church to
Mm,
laugh. And I'm like,
right.
I was being too hard on myself. And I love it, man. I love it. I've met a lot of great people. And it's a great craft. It challenges you. It makes me look in deeper into myself. I haven't since I've started doing this, I think I've cried more since I started doing this, right? It's like I've done more crying, since I've been doing this stand-up thing,
Yeah.
and it had nothing to do with stand-up why I'm crying, like, I'm crying over old stuff. Um,
It's funny.
it brings that out of you and stuff, so it's a great journey, man.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like you dig into your past, right? You mine those stories and you revisit pain and stare it in the face, right? And
It's
you
so
know,
crazy because, again, I'm from Houston. I grew up in a household of 4, my mom, my dad, my brother, and myself, and my mom, dad, brother, all of them are no longer here. So it's like I'm the only
mm,
one left from my
right,
household. So and this happened 2008 and 2013, during that time frame, and so I realized recently, it's like, dang, I really didn't process that pain properly because what I did when stuff happened, I automatically went into, let me take care of things, let me orchestrate things, let me, make sure everybody else is good. But this comedy thing has me sitting with some stuff and it's like, oh no, you got to look at these pieces. And I'm like, okay, wow, I didn't know I needed to look at that. But and again, it's one of those things to where you said you got to dig within and look at
yeah,
yourself and look at something. Yeah, and I find so many after I'm done crying, I find so many hilarious things about it.
right.
Not about the fact that they passed, but you know what I'm saying. A lot of things in my
Well, there's a
upbringing.
gift. There's like a lot of times on the other side of it,
Mhm.
right? When you've found the angle that you can laugh at it, dude, it's such a gift, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And my whole
And
family were comedian. Like my mom, dad, brother. That's where the bug hit me. Sneaking, listening to Richard Pryor. My
right,
dad was, loved comedy. My brother loved comedy. So, and my mom was a very funny person. So, going back, digging that up also makes me think about those times with them and if I can feel their presence with me and it's like, man, I know my brother would just crack up over this joke, that type of stuff. So yeah.
wow, what is your wife supportive of your comedy? Like, what's that like?
Yeah. She, a lot of comics always talk about where's the first time you bomb. I bomb like at least once a day when it comes, my wife be like, Jeremy, everything isn't funny, because it is. I can find humor in everything and I will kill it, I'll get her laughing to where her stomach is hurting, and then it's like, okay, enough, stop. And then I just take it, keep going, adding these tags onto it. And next thing you know, my audience of one is walking out.
Dude, I had a guy was telling me he divorced well, his advice, I was asking him, like, "What's your advice to comedians?" He's like, "Never never tell your spouse, like, a premise or a joke idea, because they won't think it's funny," and he's like, "I literally divorced my first wife because I would run jokes by her, and I got tired of her saying how bad they were."
Wow. Wow. Wow, no wonder comedians got high divorce rate. No.
Dude,
No, she's my wife is great. Like she'll help me with certain things. She'll say, "Okay, this is funnier." It's like I know if I can say something, she's a high thinker, right?
mm,
She's also a writer, and so she knows how to look at the beginning of a film
right.
and kind of guess how it's going to end up. You know what I'm saying? When
Yep,
you get those different vision, those perspectives, then it's hard for you just to sit down and watch a movie for enjoyment. You watch it
right,
and you know what's going to happen. So she's
right.
like that even with the comedy. And so I do take to heart what she says when it comes to, Jeremy. The biggest thing that she would say to me, like my very first time performing at the Funny Bone, she was like, "You did great, but the audience still didn't get a chance to see Jeremy." It's like you were trying to force or make them laugh, and they laughed, but they still didn't get the essence of who you are. And I'm like, okay, well, I can take that. It's better to say that than to say that was trash. Don't say trash again. Just say what you said. uh, but no, no, it's been a great journey, man. I take her to a few open mics and she's like, "Okay, no, I don't wanna do this. I don't wanna do this again."
Same exact response from my wife. I'm never doing this again. That
Yeah.
was never doing this again. And she
Mm.
hasn't, dude. She hasn't gone back. She's
Yeah,
like
I think I've lost her for the open mics.
the first time we left, she's like, "Well, that was 3 hours of my life I'll never get back," Never doing that again. She's held
Yeah,
her to her word.
yeah, yeah. That's my wife too. I don't think I'm gonna get her back anytime soon. Not to any open mics. And that's cool because, and I don't know, where are you located, Mike?
I'm near Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay. So, different rooms, they open mics, you get open mics, right?
Yep,
Unless it's specifically and
yep.
and I took her to one that was a clean open mic. It didn't turn out clean, right? It didn't.
Gosh. Wow.
Yeah, they just took over and stuff, and not that that part gets her more so than just, you got the comic, got the comic, got the comic, and then,
Right.
and I told her, I'm like, we're just working it out. We're in the gym, we're, hitting the bag, we're doing this and doing that, we're working out that muscle. And
Yep.
but for her, she's like, okay, well, just call me when you're ready for to perform. So
Right. Right.
mm.
Man, so what do you write regularly? Like, what do you have a routine? What's that look like? Or does it
Well,
just wait for inspiration to strike or what?
it's my thing is that I get something every day. I get something all the time. Writing, um, being being disciplined with my writing, that's the thing that I have to work with because I'm used to being able to when I went to college 4 times. I finally graduated, but I dropped out 5, I think. But one of our classes, we used to have to work in groups, and you'd have to get up and do a presentation. Well, nobody in my group wanted to do a presentation. Oh, sometime I would get to class, and 5 minutes, before it's time to go up, I'm like, all right, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
They would give me the bullet points or the topic, and now I got to talk for 30 minutes. That never was an issue for me to do that. But being disciplined enough to write for comedy, for me, that's something that I'm still working through because I want to take something to a different direction, but then it's like, no, but I feel inspired to go this way, and so I have to
Right.
be loyal to the inspiration. I have to try not to force it and stuff and try to make something. And then at the end of the day, I'm still working on me enjoying it. And that was one thing my wife was like, she was like,
Mhm.
everybody enjoyed it, but you didn't look like you were enjoying it. Like get up there and
Wow.
enjoy yourself. Like enjoy yourself in front of people.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
going to be funny. You're a funny person. So it's like, okay, I hear you, but I don't know if I want to enjoy myself in front of a whole group of people, you know. Depends on what kind of enjoying yourself you're talking about, but,
Yes, I don't know, like, I love asking this question. It's one of my favorites to ask people, and I've started asking, like, every guest who comes on. It's like, if we imagine that, like, somebody's watching or listening that is on the verge, like, they're about ready to pull the trigger to try stand-up comedy, like, what 1 or 2 pieces of advice would you give them?
one of the first things is to do their best not to look at they need to have blinders on. Do your best not to try to mimic somebody else or try to be like somebody else or try to do what somebody else is doing or, become envious of someone else in it and say, I want what they got and stuff.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things. And then the second thing is kind of what my wife tells me is like, make sure you're enjoying yourself, throughout
Mm,
all of this, enjoy yourself, find the joy in what you're doing. And also know that what you're doing, you're also in a roundabout way, you don't know what you're doing for people. You don't know what you're
right.
pulling them out of. You don't know what they're going through and how their day has been. And just because you were able to make them laugh, like that may have added another day to their life. You just never know. So those are the things that I would tell people.
Yeah, man, I
Yeah.
like that a lot. That's really good. I like the idea of, I blog daily on comedy. So I have this
Wow.
comedy blog and every day I'm posting on there. One of the things I talk often about, I just wrote another post on is comparison, right?
Mhm.
And I think it was C.S. Lewis who said, comparison is the thief of joy. And then, dude, I think in stand-up comedy, like, like it's so easy to compare yourself to who else is in the lineup or who else is blowing up on social or who's getting this gig or it's like so easy, that comparison trap is such a distraction, dude.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and that's why when you look at my page and stuff, and probably even some of the other comedians that don't really know me, because I really wasn't on the scene like that until recent. They probably think I'm crazy or wondering like, okay, what's his angle? Because I share other people's posts. When somebody's headlining, somebody's local is headlining at the Funny Bone, I mean, that's a club here. So I promote that. I tell people, "Hey man, go support so and so. They're local and they're headlining at this A club." So,
Mm,
yeah, yeah, I don't, the competition thing, you'll never win that. You know what I'm saying? It's like
right.
you just never win because, it's all about you. Like you got to look within and say, "Okay, what's the best that I have to give? What can I offer? What is it about me that I love about me that other people be able to see?" And I've learned too that you're going to find your tribe.
Right.
Every place I go to, the room doesn't find me funny. I don't curse in my comedy, at least not yet. They don't find Some people don't find it funny because I have to agree, like certain jokes are funnier with curse words, but I've learned to use different words or not even go that way and still not miss a beat in the show because I'm not using curse
Right.
words and stuff. And so, with that, that's just me doing my best to be authentic and say, okay, I'm gonna find my tribe. It's billions of people in this world. Like,
Yeah.
you only need this amount.
Yeah. And that's a challenge in itself, finding the trap. I got your website up here, by the way, just for those who are watching. Jeremy is spelled different. Jeremi, George is spelled regular. JeremiGeorge.com. So
Mhm.
if you're watching or listening, you can pause right now and go check that out, or check it out at the end of the episode. Jeremi George. By the way, this is only part one. We're going to get a part two, to come on this as well. Jeremy's going to bring a premise or a joke or something. But yeah, so check out his website. And man, you've been like I said at the top, like on what, Hulu, BET, and all kinds of things here. So you do acting as well. How'd you get
Mhm.
into that?
Um, in Houston, there was this gentleman. I don't know how it even came about, but I just saw this thing for this open casting call. Because again, I was doing drama and stuff in high school, and I went
Right,
to this
right.
casting call and then they just threw me in as a background. And most of those films that you see, if you look on Hulu or Netflix or whatever and you look for me and you find the movie that I was in, don't blink. Like if you don't blink, you'll see me. You like, hey, I saw Jeremy, and have that pause button ready. But so yeah, and it's a lot of things that has happened like in the Richmond area that we were able to be a part of. And
Mhm.
because of the film degree, I was able to connect with people, and because of the theater thing, I was able to connect, and I got some real influential people that are producers of movies and live shows. That's how I got the opportunity to tour for a few dates with on a comedy tour. We Outside comedy tour. It had Michael
Mm,
Blackson, Carlos Miller, DC Young Fly, Kelly Kales. So I mean, some major Tony Rock,
yeah.
some major people that I was able to kinda just sit with because I was a videographer and I did the TV spots too, because I do commercials as well.
Mm,
So I got a chance to sit and talk with those guys. Now, my conversation with them today would be different than what it was
right.
then. Still just to be in there to see the background of everything and to be a part of that is always cool. So I got a
Yeah.
few connections in the industry.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the networking side of things, a lot of it really is like who you know, right? The networking is
Oh, yeah.
huge. And even more than who you know, like who you can trust, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That
A
that's
lot of people, dude, a lot of people you can't trust because I mean it's a cutthroat industry
yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
everyone's kind of looking out for number one, right? And so for you to be sharing, other people's like shows coming up, dude, that's how it should be. Like in my opinion, that's how it should be. Who am I? But that's how, and like this little like like corner of the world I have on this podcast and my blog or whatever. Same thing. Like I love sharing the platform I have with other people and getting other people's work and stuff out there, name out there,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
to people that are reading and watching, listen to me. So like I just feel like that's how it should be, man. But a lot of comedians are competitive and kind of against antagonistic or even agonistic toward
Right.
each other. So
Yeah, I'm learning that even more. Again, I come from the church background, and so, that was kinda cutthroat too.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but, when I got with the comedy thing, I see that as well. I see the little cliques,
yep,
or see the if you're not
yep,
part of this group, then you're not, you're treated differently, whatever.
yep,
And, at the end of the day, it's like, hey, again, you find your tribe. I don't mind learning from anybody. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? Somebody that's successful at comedy, somebody that's not successful, I don't mind learning from you. But if this is something you've been doing for 10 years, 5, 10 years, or what have you, you need to have a professional headshot. And if you don't have one, we can't have a deep conversation about taking this to on a professional level. We just really can't. Because I get that all the time. "Well, how long you been doing stand-up?" Well, when I give my story, it's like, "But no, how long you been doing stand-up, stand-up?" "Okay, well, let's say less than a year, but you can't really tell on stage." "Oh,
right,
okay." And people ask you that question sometimes so they can rate,
right,
but they can categorize you. And church can be the same way. It's like, "Well, how long you been in the church?" "Well, I've been
right,
in church for 1 month." "Oh, okay. Well, you just new babe in Christ or whatever, or
right,
you just this or whatever, or what's your position? Are you a pastor? Are you a reverend? Are you a bishop?" And based upon those titles, in people's mind, they put you in a certain thing. When
true,
I would go places and people just treat me because I dress however way I dress, and so, people would know until I say, "Okay, I'm in the ministry," then I get a totally different treatment. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Would get that, and it's like, I didn't like that. That was, and that happens the same thing in comedy. You'll get a different type of treatment depending on how long you've been doing it.
yep,
And again, it's like everybody is running their own race.
that's right,
Just because somebody just stood on stage last week doesn't mean that they haven't been doing comedy all their life.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because you
right.
can look at somebody that's been doing it for 10 or 15 years, and it's like, "Wow, is that the path that I'm gonna go?"
But if they've been doing it bad or not
Well,
well
that's the
for
thing.
10 years,
That's
like,
the thing. That's the thing.
yeah,
And also too, I learned very early on, I was used to be in a gospel group when I was in Houston. That's how we got BT, and we was able to perform on there and everything. I learned that there was more than just a show. There's show business. And so a lot of creatives, we forget the business side of it because we just want to create, create, create. And that's me too. I my wife would tell you I'd rather create my very first stage play I had. It sold out, but about 60 to 70 people just walked in the door and didn't have to buy a ticket because all I was worried about was putting the show together. I forgot to assign somebody to be at the front desk. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I missed that one.
uh,
But,
yep.
gotta be able to combine the show and the business and work this out, or if you don't, have people in place to take care of that for you.
Well, man, this has been fun. Good to learn from you. Good to pick your brain, and I'm excited about part two of this as well.
Likewise,
Love
likewise.
getting into the joke stuff, and yeah, man. For those of you watching, go check out jeremigeorge.com and you can follow on social media there and all the things. After you've done that, head over to michaelhalcom.live. Got a daily comedy blog there. So blogging daily about all things comedy. And the podcast drops twice a week over there too. So make sure you subscribe. Subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, all the things, and share. We'd love for you to share. So
Sure, yeah, man. Thank you so much again for this opportunity, Mike.
yeah, man, it's great. Thanks for coming on. All right, friends, we're gonna stop there and say we hope that helps.
It's so messed up, yeah. Everything's messed up. We're going from this mess up to the next setup.